Yeah, Kelda, it's lovely to see you again. Just a reminder, Kelda is from the Wickham area of Gateshead and she's just spent 80 days rowing solo across the Atlantic. So it took 80 days, but Kelda, you've already told us it was worth it to get this reaction from your family and friends at Newcastle Station this weekend. Let's have a look.
Everybody very excited there. Her mum and dad were among those to greet Kelda, who set off on her challenge in December last year. The celebrations here were matched by those in Antigua last week when she rowed into port after 3,000 miles and a few extra miles as well.
Yes, we'll find out about those extra miles in a moment. First of all, tell us what was going through your mind when you finally arrived in Antigua after that incredible row.
It was such an emotional moment. The last 24 hours I'd been fighting against the wind all day, and then in the last mile they told me that if I didn't get the boat further north I was going to miss the finish. So the last mile had been, I mean, I was so exhausted. You'd been rowing for 24 hours, but 76 days prior to that. And then I was just having to haul on one oar.
And you actually had to row 500 miles further than you planned, didn't you?
I did 3,543 miles altogether.
So why? What happened to you?
It was because of the wind.
Right, so, it took you off course.
Yeah, my boat didn't have an auto helm, which sort of automatically keeps you on the right bearing, and because of my injury, I couldn't have foot steering. So when the wind wasn't being helpful, which was 76 days,
yes.
it kind of, if it was blowing me north, I got taken north. If it blew me south, I got taken south.
And
so
you're on your own, so you had a few hours sleep at night and you could be blown anywhere during that time.
Yeah.
You refer to your injury there. Now, you're a para-athlete.
Yes.
Explain for us your disability.
So I've got my left ankle is fused with arthritis. I had a compound fracture and dislocation, which means my left ankle is unable to move. So although it's minimal disability, obviously from a rowing perspective, you know, a lot of the technique of rowing is that you bend that ankle and push off it,
really
which I can't do.
Now that injury was caused when you were pursuing another sport. You were in horse riding.
Yes.
And as an equestrian you were very successful. You've tried your hand at a few sports, targeting the Paralympics at times.
Yes, so I mean horses was my absolute passion and my dream was to represent my country and ride at the Olympics. You know, I got the injury, I did keep going, but the injury was always quite a limitation. And then many years later, when I thought my Olympic dreams were over, I then got selected as a member of the GB Para Canoe squad and had my focus set on the Paralympics in 2016.
Success on the water, hence, so the story continues.
Now, you've been gone since December, so that means that you spent Christmas, New Year, and I believe your birthday,
and my birthday
by yourself. How do you cope with the loneliness?
It was much harder than I thought. You know, I thought I had the tools in my toolbox to be fine. By day 2, I kind of realised I wasn't. So I almost would say I didn't cope with it. It was just a case of, you know, you just had to take one day at a time and get on with it, you know, and just I couldn't wait till I reached land again.
Was it scary?
It was. You felt very vulnerable, you know, especially when you're out there on your own. And I think a lot of it was the decision making was completely on your shoulders.
Even more vulnerable, I would think, because you weren't always on your own.
You had some highs, didn't you? We've got a clip from your Facebook page where, well, let's have a look what came up to see you.
Fantastic.
This morning there was flash lightning, pitch black, flash lightning, and I had a whale swimming along at the end of my oar. There he is! I hope you got that.
What was that like? Was the whale actually tracking you, following you?
He literally for 2 days was swimming along beside me, kind of about less than 4 meters away from the boat. And initially it was incredible. You know, it was like, there's a whale swimming along beside me. Then as it got dark, he actually got a little bit, what I felt was quite threatening. And I rang up to say, you know, should I be worried here? And they told me that he was actually performing a mating ritual to my boat. So, you know,
Kelda, we're going to leave it there.
Yes.
Which is quite an image for you all. Let's get the weather forecast now.